Hello everyone and Happy New Year. Welcome to my new video show, Medicamentum Authentica. I'm Dr. Kaufman. Nice to meet you. I thought I would start off by giving you a little bit of my background and qualifications. Now, I want all of you to realize that you have the ability yourself to investigate and do research into various areas that are important to your life. Your health is one of the most important, and without your health, everything else pales in comparison. So I encourage you to dive right in yourself and start doing some of your own research and trusting that you're able to reason and think for yourself about these things. Now, I know it can be quite overwhelming looking at scientific articles where there's probability and statistics and complicated graphs, and you may not have this background knowledge. However, I want you to know that you can easily learn how to understand these types of writings, how to read them, how to do some basic computations yourself so that you can check things and make sure that you look at numbers that are important and not simply the numbers they reported. Now, you all may remember, or you may not be familiar with a famous article by Ioannidis that came out a few years ago in the PLOS journal. This article put forth a very compelling argument that more than half of all published research findings are actually false. And this has been widely accepted by people in the scientific fields, including the medical fields. So even if you can read carefully through the research literature, you find that half of those published findings are actually false. So even if you're well versed in doing this type of analysis, you can still be greatly misled by the published research findings. So this leaves you to look at other ways of knowing what is effective or not if you can't trust the scientific literature. I've found that relying on your personal experience and firsthand observation is the most reliable means to find out if something works or not. So as I began learning about natural healing techniques, I actually began trying several of these strategies on myself. And some willing family members and close friends who wanted to try these approaches. And then I could observe for myself the effect, if there's side effects, if there's toxicity, if it actually accomplishes what you had intended to, if it works. And I found some things that work and some things that don't work. But by observing the effect myself, it is much, much more reliable than reading a published article. So I had a lot of experience in practicing medicine myself. And what really led me to explore into different fields and different approaches was my own personal observation that what I was instructed to do in medical school and residency training and by the established allopathic medical system was simply not effective. I didn't see patients getting better. I practice in psychiatry predominantly, so I'm talking about using psychiatric medications. Now, I'm not saying that there's no benefit to any psychiatric medication, but it's actually quite rare and quite few people have a meaningful benefit. There's no psychiatric medicine that cures any underlying condition. In fact, the word cure was seldom spoke throughout my medical training. So I don't want you to be pessimistic after I tell you all this. I want you to be hopeful, because the truth is that you have the ability to learn about your health and about your body and to consume this information and find this information and research this information and determine what is right for you and what you think has worked or not. And you can trust your own experience and your own observations when you take this approach to see what is what. And I want to encourage all of you to start thinking this way and consider actually doing some of this yourself. Don't just rely on me. However, I know this is a daunting task, and I want to be able to provide you with some information that can get you motivated, inspired, see how someone else might approach this in terms of reasoning out and analyzing the information available, and to be an inspiration that you see that you can actually heal yourself, and this is something that you should pursue and not just rely on other people to take care of. That being said, let me tell you that I am pretty qualified to talk about these subjects. So I did my undergraduate education at MIT. There I studied principally molecular biology. I participated in various types of research while I was there. I also was a teaching assistant for a molecular biology lab course. I began working at Biogen, which is a biotechnology company. I started off doing peptide synthesis and later on developed their molecular modeling department. In fact, one of the drugs that I was modeling at the time, a thrombin inhibitor, I believe is on the market now as an approved drug. After that experience, I worked for the health department in New York City under a CDC-funded position reporting AIDS cases. So I went around to hospitals and clinics in the New York City area and reviewed medical charts and to see which patients met the criteria for an AIDS diagnosis, and that was a reportable condition for keeping statistics at the time. I then went on to physician assistant school, and after that I joined the faculty at Medical University of South Carolina as a physician assistant, and I worked in the inpatient hematology and bone marrow transplant service. I did this work for 2 years, and I took care of some very, very ill patients. I observed how cancer treatment is administered in the hospital and learned quite a bit. I then decided to go back to medical school and studied at the Medical University of South Carolina. When I finished that, I decided to specialize in psychiatry. So I went to Duke University to do my residency in psychiatry. And to do a psychiatry residency, you do one or several months of general medicine rotations as well, so that you get a little bit more practice with general health conditions and not just psychiatric conditions exclusively. And then I completed that residency and then came up to Syracuse, New York, where I currently am, to do a fellowship in forensic psychiatry. And this was at the Upstate Medical University in Syracuse, New York. When I completed that, I joined the faculty as an assistant professor and was given the chance to be the assistant director of the forensic fellowship. After doing that for a couple of years, I went to part-time faculty member so that I could start a medical device company, and pursued that for just over a year, and ultimately got a patent for the device. Then I went back to working as a full-time faculty member and was given the title of medical director of our faculty practice, and eventually also vice president of the Medical Faculty Corporation for our academic department. And I continued in this job for a couple more years before deciding to go on my own as a private physician and consultant. And since that time, I've worked with troubled youth at a residential facility and done private consulting work as an expert witness and employee evaluator. And then over the last couple of years, I've been studying natural healing and developing a natural healing consultation business on the side. And I've gotten to the point where I've learned quite a bit of information about natural healing. I've really challenged many of the paradigms of allopathic medicine through learning additional knowledge, and really challenge all of the things I learned in my medical training. And I wanted to develop a platform to share this information with you. And I want you to learn, I want you to know that one of the most important things I learned through this experience is that your body is actually capable of healing itself from virtually any condition. So let me repeat that again. Your own body and the wisdom contained therein actually has the capability of healing itself from almost any health condition. So this is so contrary to what I was taught and the philosophy of allopathic medicine, whereas the cure or the treatment for a condition always comes from outside the self, that there is a magic pill, a potion, a surgical procedure that someone else must perform to fix your body. The drug must fix some problem with your body. So I don't actually think that's the case anymore. In fact, I know that your body is capable of healing itself from all these conditions. So the principal approach that I've developed is to, one, find the underlying cause of the illness situation, and then recommending or teaching a procedure that will reverse that underlying cause. Once the underlying cause is reversed, then the body can go about healing itself. In fact, many of the conditions that we think of as diseases in our current understanding may actually be our own body's attempt to heal. In these situations, there may be barriers to the body completing the healing process that lead to the condition not resolving. But through some changes in environmental factors, in other words, diet, lifestyle, etc., we can almost always overcome those barriers and allow a clear path for the body to heal. So I want to instill a message of hope and inspiration in everyone in the audience, that I'm going to do my best to teach you all about how the body works and what causes disease, so that you can develop this knowledge and create the conditions for you to allow your own body to heal successfully. And that's the way nature intended it. I want to thank everyone for listening to this video and coming to take a chance and explore my new channel. I want to remind everyone to please click the like button below. And also, in the description, you'll find my email address, and anyone with suggestions for further episodes, any particular questions, or anyone that would like further consultation with me, please feel free to email me. Thank you again. I hope you enjoyed this show of Medicamentum Authentica.